Okay, good afternoon. My name is Chris Nappy. I'm a natural resource officer for the town of Barnstable. I'll be the hearing officer today, Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. The time is now 12:32, and we're holding this hearing today for the transfer of aquaculture grant of Nathan Ryan from 415 Sampson's Mill Road in Katuitt, Massachusetts, to Ian Kerwin of 131 Old Kings Road, Katuitt, and also the transfer of aquaculture grant Virginia Hoeck of 189 Pigquisset Cove Circle to Ian Kerwin of 131 Old Kings Road. So first we will go through the application that Mr. Kerwin has submitted for the transfer of it's Virginia to him. So these are two sites. Both of these sites are located in Barnstable Harbor in the aquaculture zone. It's site NG019 and site NG047. In this application, Mr. Kerwin lists the number of acres involved as 2.0, with a mean low water depth of 0.0 feet and a mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. The existing bottom conditions are described as dense mud, and the existing natural shellfish population are aquaculture produced oysters only. The species of shellfish to be cultivated are eastern oysters and possibly a limited number of hard clams. And then there's no other species to be cultivated, and specific details of the proposed method of cultivation is 3x4 vinyl coated bottom trays, ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays, and hard clams will be planted under nets. He proposes to harvest these shellfish by dumping trays and bags and dry digging hard clams. He does institute a predator control program, and it is his sole means of support, along with other sites and employment at Cape Cod Oyster Company. Doesn't list here if he plans on employing any outside help in the operation, but we know Cape Cod Oyster does employ other people, and this would be, it doesn't list here a requested term, but it would be 5 years for the new site. And just, yeah, you can see up on the screen now, this is two sites. One is 1.4 acres and the other one is 0.53 acres. So it's just under 2 acres listed under the 2 acre site limitation. And Ms. Hoeck also provided a letter requesting the transfer from herself to Ian Kerwin. That was at the beginning of the application. So Shellfish Constable Amy Croto is on the call as well. Amy, do you have any comments from Natural Resources side?
So Ian did pay the $125 application fee. He provided 2 forms of proof of domicile. So he meets the requirements under 47, and we know that he's been, working with Cape Cod Oyster for a number of years now, and so Natural Resources doesn't have any issue with this transfer. It does keep him between the 2 transfers from Virginia and Nathan just under 4 acres, which is now what's allowed on each side of town per individual. And the LLC will be attached to his name on the license. This was reviewed by the Shellfish Committee at their December 11th meeting. Both applications were reviewed separately, and they voted unanimously to recommend the town manager approve the transfers.
Right, so it's on the application, it's just Ian's name, but he wishes for the LLC of, that was in this letter, right? To be listed on there. See, it's just Ian Kerwin, but
yeah, and in the application, it states manager Cape Cod Oyster
right
LLC and his address.
Okay. Ian, do you have anything else to add other than what's in your application?
Not particularly, no. If you have everything you need.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to the second transfer, which is for Nathan Ryan, 415 Sampson's Mill Road to Ian Kerwin. So in this application, oh yeah, you see there the letter from Nathan saying that he wishes to transfer to Ian. And so Ian describes his grow out operation in the application. Acres involved is 2.0 with a mean low water depth of 0.0 feet, a mean high water depth of 9.5 feet. Existing bottom conditions of the proposed area, dense mud. Existing natural shellfish population or aquaculture produced oysters only. Species of shellfish to be cultivated, eastern oysters, possibly a number of hard clams. No other species of shellfish are listed that will be cultivated, and specific details of the proposed method of cultivation is nursery and grow out. No unnatural substrate will be used. 3x4 vinyl coated bottom trays for year 2 oysters. ADPI style nursery bags attached to trays for year 1 oysters. Hard clams will be planted under nets. He proposes to harvest the shellfish by dumping trays and bags and dry digging hard clams. He will institute a predator control program. And yes, this is his sole means of support, along with work on other sites with employment of Cape Cod Oyster Company. That doesn't list here if he's employing any outside help in the operation, but we know that Cape Cod Oyster does. And there's no listed a requested term of the grant, but since it's a new license, it will be for a term of 5 years. And then you see, again, this site is in Barnstable Harbor on the north side of town, in the aquaculture zone, and it's listed site NG018 for 2.01 acres. Shellfish Constable Amy Croto again is on the call. Amy, do you have any comments to add?
No, similar to the first transfer, Natural Resources doesn't have any opposition to the transfer. This will be the maximum amount of acreage on licenses that Cape Oyster One LLC can be tied to, as Dave also has 4 acres that are now going to be tied to that LLC in a license. So that LLC can no longer be present on any additional aquaculture licenses after these transfers. This was also reviewed by the Shellfish Committee at their December 11th meeting, and they all did vote unanimously to recommend that the town manager approve the transfer.
Okay. And Ian, do you have anything else to add other than what's in your application?
I do not. The 5-year period, and then is it both tied to like a potential for a 10-year renewal period? Is that correct?
Yeah. After the 5 years, you have to go through the renewal process, and then after that, it would be a 10-year renewal.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Well, since we have all this information, we'll put all of these notes together, forward the natural resource recommendation onto the town manager. And typically it's around 30 days until you hear back, and the license would be issued after that. Yeah, right now the time is 12:41, and hearing no other comments, we can close the hearing.